Hello, really well beings. Dr. Bhatia here with a video as a gentle introduction and reminder about some of the techniques we practice in our group sessions and our one-to-one sessions, all about feeling well. So we take the approach that the way you can feel better is by being better at feeling. So getting to understand and work with your feelings as they come. And we use a variety of strategies that can help. And I'm hoping that this short video will help anyone who's thinking of trying them or who comes to the session and would like a reminder. So the first thing we do is we make an association or metaphor between our feelings and an ocean. So I tend to use the description that we float in a sea of emotions and they're moving and changeable all the time. And the things and sometimes the waves can be gentle and nourishing, and sometimes they can be quite rough and scary. And by understanding these waves and learning how to work with them, one can get quite good at surfing them. And so when the waves are crashing, we can harness that energy and find it useful. I tend to approach this in two stages. So the first stage is about kind of understanding and connecting with the sea, the feelings that are within us. And this is particularly useful if you're not quite sure what's going on, and also for children who sometimes manifest emotions differently, say with upset tummies or other things. And so the first stage we do is we actually use this sheet here, which is called Floating in a Sea of Emotions. And just to sort of describe it, it sort of says that life has its ups and downs, like the rise and fall of waves in the sea. And that sometimes it can feel like we're floating in a sea of emotions as the feelings around us interact with those within us. And that this sheet is designed to help you flow with those feelings as you ride the waves of life. So with a little practice, we can get good at surfing and even enjoy the ride. So on this sheet are a series of simple exercises where you can connect and flow with those feelings. And then this is sort of step one. And then the next step is about learning how to surf those waves when they come. So on this sheet, you can probably see that there's a little bubble here floating on the sea with its ups and downs. And then there's this beautiful sun here with all the different colours in it. And we need the different colours, the different emotions in our lives to be healthy. If we're just one colour, then we're not necessarily expressing our full self. And these feelings can manifest in other ways, which aren't so helpful. So some unexpressed anger can sometimes come out in outbursts, or unexpressed tension can sometimes manifest in physical diseases. And we know that our immune system is intimately related to our emotional system, and therefore having a healthy emotional system significantly reduces our incidences of heart attacks, strokes, certain types of cancers and autoimmune disorders have also been associated with our emotional and immune function. So just to describe a little bit further, so we've got this bubble floating on the sea, and what happens is I ask, and even young children can do this, ask to spend a little time, particularly at the end of the day, tuning in to the emotions that are going on inside us. And I ask children or adults to describe and write down in the bubble what feeling they've noticed inside themselves. So right now I'm feeling quite excited about doing this video. And so I'd write the word excited in there. And then the next challenge I ask them to do is to notice the feelings that are going on in the ocean around them. So maybe you could tune into the emotions of someone you met during the day and write that in the ocean, and then drawing lines linking those feelings. So right now I suspect you're feeling a bit bemused, perhaps interested, perhaps excited too to find out what happens next. And I would write excited or bemused or intrigued in the sea and draw a line connecting the two. And then over the course of the week, more and more lines and letters and words come together. And I also invite the really well-beings to then look at the sun. And within the sun here, I'll bring it a little bit closer, there are lots of words describing some of the emotions that we can feel, including mad, hostile, angry, hurt, guilty, ashamed, content, satisfied, happy, excited. And there's a whole spectrum of colours here. And what I invite people to do is to cross off these emotions as they've noticed them in themselves or those around them, and then notice if there are certain areas, certain colours which are missing, and then look out for them, either in themselves or someone else. So, for example, if someone was not really engaging with the blue zone, I'd ask them, could you notice someone who felt bashful, stupid, miserable, inadequate, inferior, apathetic, bored, sleepy, lonely, depressed, ashamed? One of those feelings, just notice it in your day and broaden your emotional lexicon or language. So that's about floating in the sea of emotions. And then the next step, once you've kind of developed that sensitivity, we then move on to this next bit, which is about how we can surf those waves. So I'll just describe, and I often use this sheet here, which is actually associated with this calm band. And a calm band is a little tool I've developed, which you can help to keep you calm in times of challenge, and also to resolve any unresolved emotions so you can stay healthy at the end of the day. And on one side, it's got a little phrase that says pause and breathe, and it's indented. So as you touch it, it triggers parts of your brain to then tune into that relaxation response. So anytime you want to, you can just touch it and take a calm breath. As simple as that. And it trains you into this new habit, so it becomes an automatic pilot for you. The other part is on the back here, and it says connect, allow, learn, and move on. Again, indented. And you touch them as you go through these next meditations that I'm hopefully going to teach you through now. And you use this little sheet in conjunction with it. And it basically describes us as floating in a sea of emotions with its ups and downs, and that these waves can sometimes be gentle, stressful, or even overwhelming. And these calm bands can be worn on the wrist or ankle and are a helpful reminder to pause and breathe as we ride those waves. And calm stands for connect, allow, learn, and move on, and correspond to the different phases of an emotional wave. So we've got the gentle part where we gently tune into these waves during the day. And then sometimes these waves, these emotions can be quite strong. And as they rise, we notice them rather than being suddenly swept away with them. And we can allow them to rise and fall. And as we do so, we can harness that energy and surf that wave, coming out stronger each time. And then just as the wave is about to subside, just allowing a little bit of time at the end to just tune in and learn from that wave before at the end of it, giving yourself a little reminder that it's okay to move on. And I invite really well-beings to tune in and develop these skills over a week. So it's a 7-day practice. And by practicing those techniques, you get better at feeling, surfing those emotions, and also feel better. You actually enjoy the ride. So when it's a strong emotion, you actually feel alive, whether there are tears of joy or tears of sadness. I've come up with a little poem here to help describe the sequence to make it fun rather than a chore. And what I invite people to do is periodically pause and breathe during the day. And then when they do that, just give a little tick on the box here. And it's just got 7 days. And I make sure on day 7, you can take a day off and just rest and just notice what your normal pattern would be. And practice them particularly at a quiet time. A bit like surfing, you don't go straight to Hawaii in the massive waves. You practice on the small tiddlers in Cornwall and get the skills up before you take on the big stuff. So when these skills are needed, they're ready for you and should an emergency strike. There's a lot more information on the website, so if you want some tools or to download the sheet, hopefully it'll be there. And there are other useful videos that can be accessible for you too. And what I'll hopefully do is just describe the little poem here and read it out to you as I kind of go through the meditation myself, so you can kind of see how it works. So I'm just going to start off by reading it, and it's called A Calm Breath Helps. So a calm breath helps, and so may this rhyme, because learning these skills is a valuable time. Accepting where you are is the best place to start, with kindness, honesty, and an open heart. Connecting with feelings, like waves we are riding, helps reveal any emotions that may be hiding. Allowing the feeling and letting it flow, we imagine it moving from our head down to our toes. As you inhale, it rises up to your crown and falls through your body when you exhale it down. And with the next breath, it releases into the ground, receiving fresh feelings as your breath turns around. And remember to pause as the feelings subside by learning from each wave, good or bad, that you ride. It helps to reframe and turn curse into a blessing. I do it each night, me, in my journal by confessing what went well and was not so good, and what I'd do next time to improve if I could. And then move on, perhaps after some rest, ready and knowing you are doing your best. Well, that's it. That's the poem. And what I tend to do is I go through those things in my mind using the calm band, which is slightly indented. And so at the end of the day, or after I've had a strong experience, I'll touch the connect part and I'll simply connect in with my feelings, like I'm feeling the beginnings of the wave. And then as I've tuned into the feeling, whatever it is, I might name it. So I might say excited or stressed or angry or fearful or even don't know, so uncertain what I'm feeling, or slightly resistant, like I don't really want to do this. Those are all natural feelings. So whatever is on top is totally fine. The next part is as I feel that wave rising, that emotion rising, I touch the allow part and I just ask myself, could I allow this feeling to flow? And the answer could be yes, and it could be no. No is totally fine. That just means that's the feeling. I just don't want to feel it. I'm resistant to it. So that's the current feeling. And then I let it flow from head down to toe. And as I exhale, I release it into the ground and inhale the next feeling. And it might be the same one as the feeling turns around. And then at the end of the practice, say after 5 breaths, breathing in and out, counting down from 5 to 1, I then pause before I take on my next task. I just ask myself what I could learn from this. What is it that I've learned? What was that feeling trying to tell me? So if I was afraid, was it telling me there's something I love that might be in jeopardy? Or if I was angry, something I love that might be threatened? Or maybe I'm feeling lost, something I love that I'd like to understand more about. And each of these is tuning us into love, which is the best motivator for any development. And then having done that, really important is to actually give yourself either a high five or a click, a bit like a dog click a toy, or give someone else a high five and say, yay, I've surfed stress, I'm ready to move on, and then let it go and take on your next challenge. And if possible, allow yourself a little celebratory rest. That is how to surf stress using various strategies we developed in Really Wellbeing. I hope you find this useful, and I'd love to hear how it goes for you. If you're giving it a go and you want to be discreet, you can just turn the calm bands round and it has Really Wellbeing on one side of it, so that you know you are a Really Wellbeing and giving it your best wherever you are and wherever you begin. I hope that helps, and I wish you all the best. Bye for now.